Not sure whether to invest in the Isengard squad in Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth? Well, hopefully this tier list will give you some guidance. We kick things off with a look at Ugluck, the leader of the Isengard squad and a powerful plug-and-play character in his own right. We're going to take a look at his abilities and suggested levels of investment. The cornerstone of what makes the Isengard squad work is the suitably titled leadership ability for Ugluck, I am Ugluck. This ability ensures that whenever one of the Isengard team members lands a bane on the opponent, such as blind, bleed, disable, disrupted, or any of the others, Ugluck heals not only them, but the whole squad for a percentage of their max health. At the lowest levels of investment, this provides healing, and then as you go further up the levels of abilities, you're going to gain team-wide bonuses to focus, and at the very highest level, bonuses to max health. In the short term, I recommend taking this up to level 2 or 3, and if you find that you're pushing content over your level and that you're not landing those banes, you might want to look at the additional investment to get that bonus focus. Synergizing well with his leadership ability, Ugluck's passive, Rough Medicine, will see him delivering the Bane weak-minded on an attacking enemy whenever he blocks. As weak-minded is a Bane, this will trigger that passive heal. At higher levels of investment, we see the percentage block chance going up, and at the very highest level, an increase to the duration of weak-minded. Weak-minded is particularly helpful as it reduces the resistance on the enemy, making it easier for the Isengard squad to land their banes. Initially though, I'd recommend taking this up to level 2 or 3, as more often than not, you'll find that Ugluck has got the defensive boon, which means he'll automatically block the next attack regardless. Ugluck's basic Brutal Thrust is a straightforward damaging attack that at higher levels of investment grants stacks of the boon Provoke. Provoke being a boon that ensures that the enemy's next attack has to target Ugluck, particularly helpful if he's going to block that due to defensive, which will trigger once again that passive heal. In the short term, I'd take this up to level 2. However, if you find your other squad members are struggling to stay alive, you might benefit from the costly level 4 upgrade. The Special 1 ability for Ugluck is the Onslaught attack, a damaging ability that also applies the especially effective Bane Blind. You can use this to great effect against enemy characters that have a long cooldown, high damage ability that you want them to waste. The ability tier upgrades here reduce the stamina cost from 5 to 4, and after that are stacking bonuses to damage. Based on that, I'd recommend taking this to level 2 in the short term. The final ability for us to look at today for Ugluck is his second special, Dirty Work. Available on turn 2 due to its 1 turn cooldown, it'll attack the enemy twice and put a stack of defensive onto Ugluck. Particularly useful boon, as this will trigger an automatic block, apply it weak-minded, and trigger the heal from his passive and leadership abilities. If paired up with Mahur, then this attack will deal additional damage, also applying a stack of defensive to Mahur. Once you invest a second tier of ability materials in this, this attack also applies disable to your target, forcing them on their next turn to only use a basic ability. I would advise taking this up to level 3 abilities, as that will provide additional damage for the team up attack as well as the disable. As a result of these powerful abilities, leading the Isengard squad, as well as being a valuable plug-and-play character within Arena, not to mention being able to be used in 3 of the separate daily challenges, we've placed Ugluck into the S tier.
Up next, we have Azak, a powerful attacker for the Isengard squad. Now, Azak isn't available to farm as early as some of the other characters, but he is very much worth investing in. His passive allows him to do additional damage if the target has bleed, which is a very common bane that the Isengard squad will be applying. More interestingly, though, from ability level 2 onwards, whenever any enemy dies, Azak generates 1 point of stamina or energy for one of his 2 abilities randomly. This means you'll get round to using his special 1 and 2 far more often than you would be able to otherwise. Azak's basic maiming blow from level 2 onwards is going to apply expose to the enemy target. This will mean that their armor is going to be reduced and really helps the Isengard team with that single target damage that they excel at, especially as some of their abilities do call each other to assist. Bleed Dry is Azak's special one, a single target damaging ability that's going to apply stacks of bleed. This synergizes very well with his passive, as we know if the primary target does have bleed, Azak is going to do additional damage to them. Based on that, this is worth taking up to at least ability level 2 or further. Now, his special 2, Cull the Weak, is one of the more interesting abilities in the game, as it's going to ignore the targeting mechanics and instead automatically hit the most wounded enemy. This can get around Taunt and Provoke. This is an ability that's worth higher tier levels of investment, as the stacking damage is enormous compared to most other abilities we see, and also dishes out might to himself and Maher. As a result of his powerful and unique mechanics, Azak finds himself in the A tier. Not quite as strong or as plug and play as Ugluck, but an excellent addition to the Isengard squad and very much worth investing in. Now, that brings us on to the healer of the team, Dunhar. Dunhar again synergizes very well with the rest of the Isengard squad and provides some much needed single target healing in addition to the general heals that you're going to be getting from Ugluck and his leadership ability. Dunhar's passive really helps the already impressive amount of sustain the Isengard squad has. By dishing out a stack of defensive to the most wounded squad member, it's going to help mitigate incoming damage and allow them time to heal up. Investment beyond level 2 may not be needed, as his only buffs his own focus and max health. His basic synergizes very well with Azak, as it's another opportunity to apply bleed to targets. Level 2 for this may be enough in the short term, just to increase that duration. Special 1 is a single target damaging attack that's also going to apply a bane that prevents the enemy from recovering health until it wears off. Level 2 may be a sufficient investment here, just to bump the damage up a little bit on this low cooldown ability. Special 2, Cruel Medicine, is a sizable heal to the most injured squad member, but also applies Weaken randomly. I would advise taking this up to level 3 to increase the amount of healing, but importantly to also apply Weaken to a second random enemy. Keep in mind, every time you're applying a Bane, the leadership ability of Ugluck is going to heal the rest of the squad, and the more stacks of Weaken you have out, the more you're mitigating incoming damage at the same time. With a strong passive and a powerful healing ability, Dunhar easily makes it into the B tier, providing a lot of extra synergy to the Isengard squad. Up next, we have another Isengard attacker in the form of Maher, an individual who pairs particularly well with Ugluck, the leader of the Isengard squad. We'll look at some abilities now, moving on to the passive, Aggressive Tactics. This ability will allow on crit for Maher to cleanse a Bane from himself. Going to that second ability tier will provide team-wide crit chance. Beyond that, you're boosting Maher further with crit damage and clearing off additional Banes. Basic is a straightforward damaging attack. At higher levels of ability tier investment, you get additional crit chance per Bane on the enemy. This synergizes well with the Isengard squad due to the high number of Banes that they apply. That coupled with the fact that Maher often has the boon Deadly. Moving on to his first special, Foul Liquor, this is an interesting ability and it is a purely self-buffing mechanic, starting off with gaining stacks of regeneration, Deadly, Haste, before at higher levels, importantly gaining some turn meter. I would advise taking this to at least level 4 so you don't gain too much of a tempo loss. Twist the Knife is his second special, which is a high damaging attack and importantly calls Ugluck to assist. This is where we start to see some of that synergy. Additional levels of investment do crank up the damage further, and this is where Maher can really start to shine. Taking all of these abilities into account, we find that Morza sits nicely in the B tier alongside Dunhar. A lot of the power behind Morza is linked to Ugluck. As a result of that, he has little to offer in the form of plug and play. The fifth and final member of the team is the support character, Morza. Now, I wish I could say that we've saved the best till last, but with Morza, that's not really how it seems, but by all means, make up your own mind. Let's take a look at his abilities. We'll start off with the self-buffing passive White Hand Tactician, where additional levels of investment will see bonuses to Morza's max health, as well as his armor. I would suggest the minimum levels of investment here, if you are going to include him on your team, and see how you get on. If it seems like he's struggling to stay alive, investing here may help with that. As we move along to his basic Wicked Smite, this is a medium damage single target attack that also applies the Bane Weak Minded. This is a particularly useful Bane for Isengard, as it reduces the resistance of your enemy, meaning you're less likely to have focus issues. However, as you move up the tiers of investment, the damage gains are very minimal. I wouldn't suggest investing beyond level 2. Rally the Troops is available on turn 2 and will remove boons from the target enemy and apply Disrupted, preventing them from gaining additional boons. At level 2, it calls an Isengard ally to assist, so this is the minimum level of investment to really need to bring this ability online. Higher levels of investment see the ability become cheaper, as well as granting defensive. Special 2 is Show No Fear, a purely utility long cooldown ability that grants haste to your own team at higher levels, removes boons at lower levels, and grants expose to the enemy, allowing the other squad members to capitalize on this damage. Now, as you can see, Morza offers very little in the way of damage, and his abilities don't seem to be strong enough to really justify putting him on the squad. Based on that, he sits in the D tier, and I would recommend, if you're going to run Isengard, run it as a 4-piece and pad that 5th slot out with the excellent plug and play character in the form of Ironhide. He helps to address the lack of AoE on the team, as well as just being an all round very strong character that can easily push Morza to the side. So this has been our Isengard tier list. I hope you found it useful. Look forward to talking more in the comments. Thanks again.